Hey everyone, I'm Emma, a 35-year-old pediatric rehabilitation specialist living in the suburbs of Boston. I need to share something that's been weighing heavily on my mind regarding my sister Ashley, who's 29 and recently got married about 4 months ago. I wasn't invited to her wedding. Neither was the rest of my family. The pain of this exclusion still feels fresh, especially given how close Ashley and I used to be. But something changed when she got engaged. She transformed from my loving sister into someone I barely recognized. Her Instagram following of over 500,000 seemed to become more important than family ties. The real heartbreak came when she messaged me through Instagram DM about my son Nathan's wheelchair. Nathan is 12, and my daughter Lily is 8. Both of them used to adore their aunt Ashley, which made this situation even more devastating. Nathan has been in a wheelchair for the past 2 years following an accident. As his mother and a medical professional, I've watched him progress through physiotherapy with unwavering determination. We maintain hope that one day he'll walk unassisted again. When Ashley's message came through, notifying me that my family wouldn't be welcome at her wedding because of Nathan's wheelchair, I felt like I was reading words from a stranger, not my sister. Her explanation was particularly cruel. She was concerned about how her wedding photos would appear on her social media feeds with Nathan's wheelchair in frame. As both a mother and a doctor who works with children with disabilities, I was stunned into silence. Later that day, there was an obvious solution. The photographer could simply avoid including Nathan in certain shots, if that was really what she wanted. But I couldn't even bring myself to suggest it. The mere thought of excluding my son from family memories was too painful to contemplate. Instead, I replied with a brief message saying I understood we wouldn't be attending, and left it at that. I kept this painful secret between myself and my husband. The last thing I wanted was to create family drama that might affect Nathan. In the months leading up to the wedding, I maintained a facade of normalcy around our parents, Robert and Patricia, and Ashley. She did the same, acting as if nothing was wrong. When people asked why we hadn't attended the wedding, I fabricated an excuse about my father-in-law being ill. Even James, Ashley's husband, accepted this explanation without question. At the engagement party, everything changed at our cousin's engagement party. The truth finally surfaced when James cornered my husband and me. I could see the genuine hurt in his eyes as he expressed his disappointment about our absence from their wedding. James had been part of our family for nearly 4 years before the wedding, and we'd always shared a warm relationship. Emma, I need to understand, James said, his voice filled with concern. I know there was something more than just your father-in-law being sick. Did I do something wrong? I tried deflecting, apologizing, and promising to make it up to him somehow, but James wouldn't let it go. His persistence, combined with his obvious sincerity, finally broke through my resistance. Looking at my husband, we silently agreed it was time to tell James the truth. James, I began, my medical training helping me maintain composure despite my churning emotions. Ashley sent me a message before the wedding. She said we couldn't attend because Nathan's wheelchair would ruin her wedding photos. She was worried about how it would look on her social media. The shock on James' face mirrored my own feelings from months ago. His expression shifted from disbelief to horror as the implications sank in. Oh God, Emma, I had no idea. If I'd known. He ran his hands through his hair, visibly distressed. I would never have let that happen. Never. Throughout the rest of the party, I noticed Ashley shooting daggers at me with her eyes, as James stayed by our side, barely acknowledging her. As a medical professional, I'm trained to observe people's reactions, and I could see her perfectly curated social media persona cracking under the strain of her husband's obvious disapproval. Days after the party, the aftermath came swiftly. My parents called 3 days after the party, their carefully neutral tone setting my nerves on edge. They'd discovered the real reason behind our absence from Ashley's wedding, but their response left me feeling cold. Emma, my mother Patricia began, her voice carrying that familiar tone of forced diplomacy. We don't want to get involved, but Ashley is very upset. James is insisting she needs therapy. He says she's been cruel and heartless. I listened as they explained how Ashley and James had been fighting nonstop since the party. According to them, James was so disturbed by Ashley's actions that he was refusing to move forward with their plans to start a family until she agreed to counseling. Ashley, still clinging to her influencer mindset, maintained that she had made the right choice to protect her wedding's aesthetic for her social media presence. She's blaming you for sabotaging her marriage, my father Robert added, his words careful but pointed. She says you turned James against her for revenge. The irony wasn't lost on me. A social media influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers, worried about her marriage being sabotaged by the truth. As both a medical professional who regularly deals with families in crisis and a mother who has watched her son face countless challenges, I found the accusation almost laughable. That's ridiculous, I responded, my professional composure slipping slightly. I told James the truth because he deserved to know. As a doctor, I've seen how harmful secrets can be to relationships. And as Nathan's mother, I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine when my own sister rejected him because of his wheelchair. My husband supported me completely, but something about my parents' carefully worded neutrality bothered me. Their repeated assurances of not taking sides felt more like a subtle criticism of my actions than true impartiality. Confrontation with parents. The unease about my parents' response grew until I couldn't ignore it anymore. I decided to confront them directly about their neutral stance. When I arrived at their house, the familiar living room where we'd shared so many family moments felt oddly sterile. I need to understand something, I began, my years of delivering difficult news to patients' families helping me maintain my composure. If you truly don't want to get involved, why did you feel the need to tell me about Ashley's marriage troubles? They initially deflected, claiming they just wanted peace between their daughters. But as a physician who regularly reads between the lines of what patients tell me, I could sense there was more. Be honest with me, I pressed, my professional demeanor giving way to raw emotion. I'm not one of my patients who needs careful handling. I'm your daughter. Finally, the truth emerged. They believed I was partially at fault for telling James the truth. It was months ago, Emma, my mother said. Everyone had moved past it. Why dig it up now? The words hit me like a physical blow. As someone who has spent years helping children overcome physical challenges, I couldn't believe my parents were more concerned about preserving Ashley's perfect social media image than addressing her discrimination against their own grandson. So Nathan's feelings don't matter? I asked, my voice steady despite my rising anger. The fact that your daughter rejected her nephew because his wheelchair didn't fit her Instagram aesthetic, that's okay with you? It was her wedding, my father countered weakly. She had the right to invite who she wanted. And I have the right to tell the truth when asked directly, I responded, thinking of all the times I've had to deliver difficult but necessary truths to patients' families. Just like I have the right to protect my son from people who see his wheelchair before they see him. Unexpected visit. The confrontation with Ashley came sooner than expected. She showed up at my house, unannounced one evening. As a precaution, I asked Nathan and Lily to visit our neighbors. My medical training has taught me the importance of protecting children from potentially stressful situations. As soon as the kids left, Ashley launched into her grievances. How could you do this to me? She demanded, her perfectly curated social media persona cracking. James won't even look at my new Instagram content anymore. He says he can't trust my online authenticity after what I did. None of this is my fault, Ashley, I replied, maintaining the same calm tone I use with distressed parents in my practice. Your actions have consequences. As a doctor who works with disabled children daily, I see the harm that discrimination causes. As Nathan's mother, I lived it through your rejection. Suddenly, her influencer facade crumbled completely. She collapsed onto my couch, sobbing. Not the photogenic tears I'd seen in her Instagram stories, but raw, messy crying. It was such an unexpected shift that my husband and I stood frozen, our medical training momentarily forgotten in the face of this very personal crisis. When she finally calmed down, she revealed the real source of her distress. James has put all our family planning on hold, she choked out. He says he can't trust me to be a good mother after how I treated Nathan. He thinks I need therapy before we can even think about having children. Looking at my sister, I saw past the carefully filtered persona she showed her followers. I saw the scared woman beneath, who had lost herself in the pursuit of social media perfection. As both a medical professional and a sister, I recognized this as a cry for help. You know, Ashley, I said gently, using the same tone I use with parents when discussing their children's rehabilitation journey. Maybe James has a point. What you did wasn't just about wedding photos. It was about valuing your social media image over your nephew's dignity. After Ashley's visit, the situation with Nathan came to a head when I discovered Ashley had tried to reach him through Instagram. As his doctor and his mother, I felt a double surge of protectiveness. She had messaged him asking to help reconnect with me, putting him in an uncomfortable position he didn't deserve. Nathan, showing maturity beyond his 12 years, came to me directly about it. His experience in physical therapy has given him a strength I sometimes forget he possesses. Mom, he said, looking up from his wheelchair. And Ashley messaged me. She said you blocked her. What's really going on? After careful consideration, drawing on both my medical training in delivering difficult news and my maternal instinct, I decided to be honest with him. As I explained the real reason we hadn't attended Ashley's wedding, I watched his face carefully, ready to support him through any emotional reaction. His response surprised me. Thanks for protecting me all this time, Mom, he said thoughtfully. And thanks for telling me now. I've been through enough therapy sessions to know hiding things doesn't help. 3 years later, time has brought tremendous changes. Nathan has progressed to using crutches, though he still needs his wheelchair when fatigue sets in. As his physician and mother, I've watched every step of his journey with both professional appreciation and maternal pride. Ashley and I maintain a distant but civil relationship. She's had a baby with James after completing her therapy, and we exchange congratulatory messages on significant occasions. When I shared Nathan's progress on social media, not for likes or followers, but to celebrate his achievement, she sent a genuine message of congratulations. Our relationship will never return to what it was, but there's a kind of peace in our current dynamic. I've maintained my distance from our parents, focusing instead on my immediate family and my work helping other children achieve their rehabilitation goals. In the end, watching Nathan's determination and progress has brought me more joy than any perfectly curated social media feed ever could.